Yeah, we're rolling.
Alright, you want to give
Hey there, Fatman here, and
You messed that up so bad already.
What the f? Off the bat. Right.
Hey everybody, Fatman here. I'm with Skeletor and Matt the Mighty.
he took our passwords and now he streams video games on our channel.
And today we are revisiting a childhood classic.
Yeah.
You want to tell what movie are we doing?
Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, the greatest Scooby anything to ever exist.
I want to call you out on that, but I can't necessarily say you're wrong.
What movie's better?
Yeah, exactly.
Scooby-Doo wise, yeah, true. So I'm like lifelong Scooby-Doo fan. I love almost everything to do with Scooby-Doo. Even the subpar live action stuff I still like. They still hold a special place. This was the first Scooby-Doo anything I ever saw. It wasn't the original series. This was the first, but bear in mind, I was like 6. I saw it in a video.
Yeah.
I saw it in a video store. My dad got it for me. That led to everything Scooby. And to this day, this is probably still my favorite Scooby-Doo movie. I will say, in fairness, like this was the first Scooby-Doo movie to do like the direct-to-video. That's still going now, by the way. They're still making Scooby-Doo movies like once a year. And they're not good, but they're still making them. Zombie Island kicks off the, for lack of a better word, modern day timeline.
Yeah.
Also, the voice you are hearing off screen is the other Fat Man, my brother. Do you want your name said out loud?
Oh, it's already on because of the cheese video.
Chris,
cheese video.
yeah, that's right. You seen him in the cheese video.
As seen here.
You
Look
can,
at him gorge himself.
You can
Look at him go.
You can only have one Fat Man on screen per Illinois law because we just won't all fit on frame. But he'll be the disembodied voice you'll be hearing off camera.
So, for me, with this video, with this movie, what we're about to watch, by the way, and you can probably see the setup right here. This is my original television that was in my house when I was born. The VCR is a little new, but the VHS inside of it is very special because that is the original broadcast airing of this movie. With all the commercials and everything.
Sorry, the VCR is a little new is a line. I have never, like, holy the contradiction on that. But
okay, you know what? The VCR is from
It's only 9
that time period just before they started installing DVD players in the VCR as well. When I say the VCR is a little new, I mean in contrast to everything else around it, yeah.
The relative term.
so just to give a general impression before we watch through this, I watch this every Halloween.
I actually have a very similar story to Fat Man's, where one day my mom just randomly bought this VHS tape from. She's like, "Oh yeah, I saw this at the store here," and I'm just like, "Oh wow!" I remember the first time I watched it, I was just blown away by like just how it was more, like just like zombies and she's like, "Oh, they're real this time."
Yeah.
That was the hook when this first came out. Like the creatures
it's
are real. And I think, to my knowledge, I think this is the first time they've ever done something like that. Like they trope it
13
again.
Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
13, yeah. Then the Boo Brothers. But
Oh yeah, the Boo Brothers were before 13 Ghosts, weren't they? That was the start of the Red Shirt era.
yeah, because it was
Man.
like Boo Brothers, Ghoul School, Reluctant Werewolf. They went on a string of like spooky movies.
I like
Side
Reluctant
note, Reluctant Werewolf,
Werewolf. Googie is best girl.
Googie is best girl. Fight me on that.
I'm gonna show for Ghoul School every day. Like that was a great movie. But it's funny showing it to people for the first time and to give you some background. Like one of my uncles is a butcher. Like I've seen him do his work on live animals. As unpopular as a take this might be, but like
It's halal certified. It's okay.
I remember I had it on one day and like he knows what Scooby-Doo is. He's seen the show.
You're right.
But we were watching Zombie Island and it gets to the end where they're all tied up and, you know, the cat girls are in full swing and life force is draining and he turns to me and he goes, "Is this supposed to be a kid's movie?" I'm like, yeah. He's like, "It's a little violent." Like, you know what? Yeah, it kind of is for Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, there's actually, like, for a second there, little me was like, "Oh my god, there's a chance he's not getting out of this."
Yeah, it was kind of tense.
Is it rated PG or G?
I think it's just G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see in a minute. I haven't seen this in like 5 years. I'm excited.
All right.
We're all pretty big Scoob heads around here.
Like Jinkies, man.
All right, you guys ready to Kick this thing off.
We are going to check out Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, and we will be back with you shortly. Make a fun game of it and pause here, throw it on, watch along.
Yeah.
And we'll be back to talk about it together.
2 hours later.
You good, mic on?
Wait, did you have to reset it?
We're good. We're going. Just Jesus Christ, Matt.
All right. Welcome back.
Matt.
No one wants to Matt. Pay attention.
Anyway.
All right, welcome back to ZeitgeistOG. That was Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. I think a fair thing to say that it is still good. Like, the movie still holds up.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Like Zoinks, man, that was amazing.
That VHS did not hold up so well, though.
Gotta love dealing
shocked.
with analog
In
technology.
2023, I'm shocked that your VCR and CRTV don't hold
To
up.
be fair, for the amount of times I've watched that movie, that held up really well. But yeah, no, that's literally falling apart at the seams.
It was authentic.
The
Yeah.
goddamn TV doesn't even have coaxial. It's got the weird two-prong things. I don't know
Yeah.
the word for that.
The amount of times we saw the Nesquik bunny play baseball.
Hey, Jimmy! Oh, come on, you can... Whoa! No, it's Mr. Brunner's house! Not the wind! You hit it, you get it!
Oh my god.
Yeah, they played
The
that
commercials
commercial
were
a lot.
good. It was pretty much Lego, Nesquik Bunny, and Barbie.
Yeah, there was one where Barbie crossed over with Winnie the Pooh. When's Margot Robbie gonna do that?
The opening line was Barbie has poo. And I'm like,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
checking off somebody's fetish.
Speaking of checking off somebody's fetishes, we gotta talk about this movie.
One thing, honestly, like this movie does not get enough props for.
Its women are attractive.
That, but also, like it's really aesthetically pleasing. Like the color choices, the shading.
Oh my god, yeah.
The scene direction is phenomenal. Like it's set up so well. It knows how to play with the atmosphere really well.
It does. It does. And it helps that a lot of what they're doing is at night.
Yeah.
But even when
That's
they're
where
doing
the
the
shading
daytime
comes
stuff,
in. It's
oh my god, like it's the middle of the daytime and when that skeleton comes out of
which
the
was the
grave.
scene that always terrified me as a kid.
Yeah, that hit different. Like that's the middle of the day. Spooky stuff shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, and it kind of comes out of nowhere because beforehand it's like a funny chase scene.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they fall in the hole, and then the spook factor really gets cranked up.
You know what's good too is, honestly, honest to God, a lot of modern day movies and video games can learn something from how this movie colors itself. Like it's in a bland, like there's nothing sparsely unique about a forest setting with a lake and blah blah blah, but the way this movie plays with colors, like so many
Yeah.
video games and movies today give you such a bland, like brown and mush green color palette whenever they're in these scenarios, but this still manages to pop.
I think
it's
part of
very
that is
visually pleasing.
It's
that
got a really-
Louisiana feel.
It's got a really bold color choice.
It does.
Yeah.
It does, and it works. Also, like all the food in this movie looks delicious.
Oh my god,
The
yeah.
crawdads, the gumbo, the biscuits, the you're a couple of gorgonzolas. It all looks. It all looks great.
I want. Oh, you know what? Coming soon, we're gonna make one of these sandwiches. As seen
We're
here.
gonna make a Scooby-Doo. It inspired us today.
To get a bite to eat.
I made a lot of po' boy sandwiches in my time, but this is going to be the biggest of them all.
Like we're used to eating big meals.
Yeah, that's gonna be a video coming soon.
Going to spend $30 on a sandwich.
The voice cast is stellar. by the
Yeah.
way. Like Mark Hamill. It was. This was.
I didn't realize that was Mark Hamill.
He sounds like Johnny Knoxville. in
He
this
does. I would have believed that was Johnny Knoxville.
I would never in a million years think it's Mark Hamill.
You scared away, Big Mona.
I guess he really does have a good range. Of that.
Movie. He does. No, Mark Hamill has a great.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's also Tara Strong before she was Tara Strong. This movie just nails it for me. Like, there's a lot of other really good Scooby-Doo movies. Again, like these guys, Alien Invaders is great.
It's not bad.
Witch's
It's
Ghost is
okay.
fantastic. Legend of the Vampire is great. But this is like the ultimate. Like, if you're introducing somebody to Scooby-Doo and you want to skip TV episodes and go to a movie, this is it.
Yeah, and the sad part is that for as good as the rest of it is, it's all downhill from here.
You know what? But not it's downhill.
Not
Not in the
immediately.
way to necessitate that everything that comes after this is a bad movie. Just they do never hit this peak again. But there are still great movies in the timeline.
Visually, I guess
Visually,
sound-wise
I
and
think it's the
sound-wise,
best.
Witch's Ghost is on the same level.
Sound.
Yes.
By the way,
Amazing
holy
sound
crap!
design.
Like
The food didn't just look good; it sounded good.
everything in this movie. That's another thing. This film gets such big props for. The sound design is on point. And honestly, think about it. Think about how many times you're watching a movie and you really notice the sound design.
Yeah.
We noticed it on the last movie we watched because it was so bad when we watched Pet Sematary Bloodlines a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, the stirring a pot of mac and cheese sound makes sense when you're digging through someone's guts. You shouldn't be hearing that when you're touching a wall of wet paint.
That was one of 3 sound effects that movie had. But this too, and everything, it's just classic Hanna-Barbera zaniness, sound effect wise, and like even in the beginning when Scooby and Shaggy crash into each other, and it sounds like bowling pins.
Yes.
That's such a nice touch.
When they're drinking out of the water and that green lightning bolt comes down and there's that. That sound, like, that has cemented itself in my brain for my entire life as something supernatural is happening.
And honestly, it's weird to talk about a Scooby-Doo movie in this context, but it nails so many things, like the sound design, the colors, the shading, the animation, the music. Holy crap, the music. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
They really nailed the production of it. Like, it really feels like a movie.
It does,
It
yeah.
does.
Even though it was made for TV, it does feel theatrical. There's a huge theatrical feel to it. And like, Sky Cycle aside,
I wish they did more
Even
work.
the atmospheric music is great.
Yeah, like they really know what they're doing with like sound design and stuff, and it really shows.
Like, Terror Time Again is a bop. It will always
hell
be.
yeah.
That is such a great song. By the way, Third Eye Blind does the
Did not
rendition of
expect
the
that.
Scooby-Doo.
I had no idea.
That's awesome. The voice work, the animation, the atmosphere, the shots, the scene direction, even the story. Honestly, this is surprisingly brutal for a Scooby-Doo movie.
Yeah, holy crap. At the very end, the dude's face falls off and you can just watch it come off the skeleton and it hits the floor.
When they're playing hot potato with a decomposing human head.
Man, that head. Okay, the sound design. When they're yanking on the head, that like sound.
And when
like,
he twists it back on.
Oh
That
my
rubber
God.
stretchy sound effect really sells like the thing of like this might not actually be a person in a
When
mask.
I was a little kid, the idea of like getting in there on that cadaver's jaws and like yanking on it and trying to like, I'm like, that is disgusting.
Fred
That
Jones
is-
was strong enough to rip a man's head off.
Yes. Even it might be
The
a
ascot was
decomposing
holding him back.
a decomposing corpse a little bit, but it's strong enough to stand on its own. All right, and he ripped that thing's head off.
And even when we finally get the backstory of Moonscar Island, that's
a name.
That's brutal. Dude.
Yeah.
Like, you watch a gang of pirates chase off these people in the crocodile.
We're not gonna kill
infested
you
water.
ourselves,
Yeah.
but we're gonna let the crocodiles have their way
Crocodiles can handle it. Then plus there's so many,
with you. I think technically they're alligators.
like, it's just a great Halloween movie. Just thematically, like, you have cat god rituals, like ancient cat people curses, zombies disintegrating to dust, but like pirate. I don't know. It's so weird.
Civil War
It's
era
such a
ghosts.
weirdly good movie. Like, you would never expect. I mean, maybe you wouldn't. I don't know, but I would never look at a Scooby-Doo movie and be like, yeah, they are straight up gonna just nail everything here. And this is actually not only gonna be a great Scooby-Doo movie, it's honestly a great movie in general.
It is. It really is.
It's just generally
Yeah, like it's got a good story.
like the story's interesting. The mystery is actually a mystery. Like, I was convinced when I watched this
I really like how they
as
do
a kid
the,
that it was the Scruggs.
Oh yeah, I really like how they do the like they establish zombies and stuff, but they're actually not like the antagonists.
Yeah, that
They're
was
actually
nice.
Trying to help them.
And they hint at that a couple of times.
Although
Yeah,
you
so my
really
wife-
gotta ask yourself, what would the zombies have done if they didn't run? If they
Yeah.
just stood there? Because if they're trying to help them,
I
like,
assume since they can't talk, they would try to grunt their way into explaining. Well, or maybe, honestly, maybe the zombies' plan. My headcanon was always the zombies' plan was to take them to the cave they accidentally stumble upon with all the wax dolls. Like, they would grab them and just kind of drag them there and hope that Shaggy and Scooby could link it together?
Possibly. I would assume there'd be more mumbling, like, the zombies are doing their best to speak English, but it's just not happening.
This movie, by the way, is also generally funny. Like, there are quite a few lines that got an audible laugh out of me.
She don't turn on no dime!
I
still use that when I'm driving today.
you ain't never gonna catch that catfish, and you never gonna did.
You ain't never gonna did.
The Gorgonzola line was a running joke with me and one of my ex-girlfriends too. Like and just the delivery. Like the guy goes,
"You're a couple of Gorgonzolas."
Like, don't worry, boss. There's a couple of Gorgonzolas left. Like, you're a couple of Gorgonzolas. He goes so f***ing hard for no reason, and it's fantastic. It's a good movie. Like,
yeah.
Honestly, no, it's not a good. It's a great movie. It's a fun time. It really is.
It's a really good example of Scooby-Doo. Like, it's really well written. It's like really good with the source thing, because like it's pretty good if you've watched like Scooby-Doo Where Are You, and you like you've seen them like
so many throwbacks.
There are, yeah.
That entire
the riverboat.
The montages I'm going through all the places is really nice.
The casino, riverboat, the warehouse.
There's even the
graveyard.
warehouse. The warehouse. Don't quote me on it, but it looks exactly from the opening scene of the first live-action Scooby-Doo movie too.
It may be.
But anyway, yeah, Scooby-Doo. If you have somehow been living under a rock and you've never heard of Scooby-Doo, this is a really, really good starting point. Like, Zombie Island it just hits all the right marks. It really does. And I mean, we've already talked about it up and down, but everything, the animation, the voice work, the humor, the direction, the setting, the lighting, the story,
all of it's great.
It hits every mark you would want a movie to hit. Guys, if you haven't seen it and you
go check out Scooby-Doo and Zombie
if you haven't seen it and you even remotely like Scooby-Doo, do yourself a favor here. This is such a good watch.
And if you like Scooby-Doo and you haven't seen this movie, do you really like Scooby-Doo? Like, this is the movie.
Honestly, yeah. Like, out of every single film they've ever done.
Because especially with like that like montage at the beginning of like, cause like they kind of like remove like you don't even really need to see the previous stuff. You just know they're going around catching fake ghosts, and then all of a sudden they're real.
Yeah, the writers really came through, and they did their research too. Like, everything. All the animated food that's specific to Louisiana actually looks pretty...
Yeah.
They definitely had a pulse on Southern culture.
They did. So, for ZeitgeistOG, I've been Fatman here with my partner in crime, Skeletor, and our buddy, the Mighty Matt. And off-screen voice, the other fat man who is currently asleep. This was too much for him.
Yeah, that was. Well, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and if you want to see more content,
and if you're interested,
yeah,
what do you guys think of the idea of ranking all the Scooby-Doo movies? I'd be down to go down that rabbit hole.
Definitely do that.
Yeah, we can try that. Yeah.
And if you enjoy this format, and there's another movie you could think of you want us to check out like this, hell, maybe you even want us to keep going with Scooby-Doo. Sound off in the comments. We're down for that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We will catch you next time.
Like and subscribe, please. Dear God, please subscribe.
Don't beg them. We don't need them.
No, he can beg.
They're a couple of Gorgonzolas.
If people have watched to the end, they might be the type of people to actually sub, and you never know.
True.
Yeah. All right. Well, there we go.
We shouldn't beg at the beginning.